We went to the Freedom 250 Great American State Fair so you didn't have to. The event had reportedly been described as costing somewhere between $50 and $100 million, so we wanted to see where that money actually went and what it bought. We went in trying to spend as little money as possible, judge it fairly, and hopefully survive the July heat. Got my pride gear on to showcase I'm not with MAGA, and as always, with SPF 50. I already knew we were in hell when I checked out the website. The Freedom 250 website felt very hastily assembled, with AI-generated portraits replacing actual historical artwork despite the real portraits briefly appearing elsewhere on the website. The most notable slop was the Founding Fathers gallery. That alone had hours of AI-narrated videos, while many revolutionary women were reduced to static and overall questionable AI interpretations. These are just two ladies that don't look anything like the reference portraits they have, a black woman with a very long neck, and Olivia Colman. Even the website was bare bones, with little more than basic map, opening hours, and transportation directions. The map was... Listen, graphic design isn't my passion. I feel like I could have made a better version of this, though. So we checked the website, saw the advertised opening time, took the metro, and we arrived at 10:30 that morning. Except the event wasn't actually opening when the website said it would. The only announcement was buried in an Instagram post made the same day saying gates would open at noon, not 10 a.m. The website was never updated, no email was sent, and security couldn't give anyone any answers beyond soon. Hundreds of people stood in direct sun wondering what was happening. As was I. I was looking for any news features of it. I checked online, Twitter, the website, nothing. Somehow they had my email address to send promotional emails, but they also never sent any updates about delayed openings, the heat advisory, or changing of schedules. This was all based on the Instagram. I'm not even sure if I was pre-registered for the event. It was a free admission. Actually, what the hell was I even registering for? It had a separate line and everything in there, but I received no information the day of the 4th. And if you're going to have a lot of people who are traveling to come to an event, I think it's very clear to make sure when it's opening. And also, while we're in line, there was a massive list of things you could not bring into the event. Things that you would expect to be able to bring in, given it's going to be hot in the summer and you're there all day with your family. Unless you went on the website ahead of time and had a crappy plastic shed tarp holder available as a see-through clear bag like myself, you overpacked for the event. Aerosol cans for sunscreen, water bottles and Nalgene's, and other bags meant to hold everything you need for a hot day just weren't permitted at the fair. Unless it was in a stroller or a diaper bag, no luck. So that held everything up a lot. Once we survived the line and got out of it, it was around 12:40 at this point. The biggest issue becoming immediately obvious. There is no shade. This plagued the lines as well as the multiple people dropping like flies in that line. Unless you squeezed inside a Smithsonian museum or hid under a tree or packed into one of the pavilion spots, there was nowhere for you to escape the sun. The fair centered around the state pavilions where visitors collected passport stamps for each of the different states they went to. This is a very strange concept considering you don't need a passport to visit other states in the United States. Even with the territories like Guam and Puerto Rico, you just need a real ID most of the time. You don't need the actual TSA approved passport to get from one state to the next. So using a passport for this felt really weird. Most of the booths consisted of like maybe a couple travel informations and a few decorations. It felt like a brochure at worst. Well, some states just didn't participate, and instead of just taking them off the pavilion list, they just kept them there, and with the door locked, so that was apt. The larger pavilions covered themes like American innovation, faith and family, made in America, American development, yada yada yada. A lot of these pavilions just had that, and the US military advertisement resembling a high school career fair more than a national celebration. It just looked very odd. They had some children's artworks here and there, which were fine, I guess, but the whole thing just felt very middle school field day at best. Or at least at a field day, you had games to play. There was nothing here but like one cornhole, and I don't know if those people just brought it in themselves. With the sun and the crowd suffering, it was a pretty empty event. It was odd to see these inside pavilions crowded and hot, then go outside and see that it's empty. The air shows were cool, but I can't say they were much better pageantry than what you'd see at like a D1 football game. Credit where it's due, the staff distributed water consistently and tried their best without knowing anything. Food lines moved quick as I was seeing. I didn't buy any food because I didn't want to. Where would I eat it? On the floor? I didn't want to eat my lunch on the floor of a dirty pavilion or outside. The performers were fine. It's just, I couldn't sit out and listen because I would have baked to death and I didn't have that awning available, so I wasn't going to scooch in there. And the Ferris wheel looked kind of cool. It was a free ride anyone could join in on, but I wasn't too keen to spend my time in another line that would have just taken me even closer to the sun. Most attendees were trying to help each other out, and most were civil with each other, and thankfully I avoided those white nationalist losers that came in and out. The event overall was not designed for a July event in Washington, D.C. If this was all $50 to $150 million with private donations and investors, oh, woof. I'm not seeing that here. That's kind of why this all felt very frustrating. The idea itself isn't bad. We absolutely could have hosted a World's Fair type celebration for the country's 250th anniversary. State exhibits, live entertainment, innovation showcases. It could have been genuinely fun. A great way for Americans to learn more about other states that they haven't visited, different territories, tribal nations, historical context, and social progress from our nation's inception to now. Keeping it historically accurate would have been easy enough. That's why the original America 250 had so many people wanting to attend and perform it, but Trump had to make it gross politically partisan Christian fascist themed, and that event suffered for it. This felt so cheap and so rushed. The AI-heavy marketing, the lackluster exhibits, minimal planning for basic necessities like shade, and just the very confusing communication were just the sprinkles on top of this shit show. We left early, grabbed a burger somewhere else, avoided the white supremacists somehow, and watched fireworks away from the crowds. Honestly, I had a much better 4th of July at home since I stole some of the dog's firework cheese. A Great American State Fair. Could have been fun, but unfortunately was exactly as I expected.